I guess this means I've lived to play another inning. La 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 la. They tried to slap that look right off my face, but I'm still grinning. And the money ain't run out yet, so I do believe I'm winning. For all the mess I was, them and will be continuing. And the fun is only beginning. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Friday night after the bell. My name is John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Finally, CENA turns heel. John, don't bury the lead. What's our top story from WWE Elimination Chamber 2025?
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead. In maybe the easiest lead ever since we started this show, we have John Cena winning the Elimination Chamber. All hokey-dory, all thumbs up, Everyone, do your vitamins and say your prayers kind of esque stuff with Cena. So Cena wins it. Cody Rhodes comes down to the ring. They shake hands. Cena's like, we're going to wrestle in the WrestleMania. Rock comes down. A big series of talking points. And eventually, John Cena turns on Cody Rhodes, kicks him in the crotch, and that's that. John Cena has turned heel. You are not hearing this incorrectly. You're not dreaming. This actually happened. Dom, what do you think about John Cena turning heel tonight at the Elimination Chamber?
I was wondering when in the show they were going to do this. I'm glad they saved it to the end because of how it turned out. I thought this was excellent.
Oh, amazing.
I liked every part of this except for whoever that guy was in the ring with The Rock, Travis Scott. I don't know who that is. I don't know why he's there. It's not like they needed the celebrity power. They had two movie stars in the ring.
Much bigger stars.
Right. I mean, The Rock and John Cena are much bigger stars, even in pop culture, than this Travis Scott person, or at least The Rock is. But he was there. He played a role at the end, helping to hold down Cody Rhodes. This was fantastic. Cody Rhodes comes into the ring to congratulate John Cena. The Rock's music interrupts their feel-good movement, as you said. The Rock walks very slowly to the ring with Travis Scott by his side. The Rock asks for his answer. Cody says, I want it all, Rock, but my soul no longer belongs to me. I gave my soul to this ring and these people a long time ago. And in the background, you could see John Cena cheering and nodding his head going, yeah, yeah. And then Cody says, hey, Rock, go F yourself. Except, he said it for real. The crowd in Toronto popped. John Cena's jumping around like a little kid. They're all clapping. You could even hear Cena saying, "Kid's got some balls," So they're doing it up all nice. Cody and Cena hug in the ring. And then the thing that's so underrated about the WWE happens. They had a camera person positioned right over The Rock's shoulder a minute before they needed him. Like just right there. And they zoom in on John Cena hugging Cody Rhodes, but looking up at The Rock. Cena's facial expression changes. We're the only ones who can see it at home. The Rock gives the cutthroat motion. Cena breaks the hug with Cody, kicks him in the crotch, as you said, and then the beat down is on. Cena pounds him after the low blow, hits him with what Michael Cole called brass knuckles. It was a Rolex. Yeah. And then hit him twice with the title belt. Cody's busted open over his left eye. Then they hold Cody down while The Rock whips him with a belt that says Cody's soul. And the heels leave the ring with a bloody Cody Rhodes lying on his stomach, looking around, wondering what happened. I liked everything that happened here. Finally, John Cena turns heel. WWE Universe, I'm not a part of the WWE Universe from long ago, but tell us in the chat, tell us in the comments, have you been waiting for this for 20 years? Are you surprised they finally pulled the trigger now during what should be a feel-good retirement tour? Do you think it makes it better or makes it worse? As someone who was not a longtime WWE fan, I think this is fantastic that Cena's turning heel during his feel-good retirement tour. If this was the plan all along, then I'm so glad they saved it for right now. Fantastic. John, you said you had a lot of stuff that wasn't in your notes that you were just going to riff on. The floor is yours, my friend.
Dom, I couldn't have said everything better myself. Thanks for that recap there. Things I do want to point out, maybe it was so great, and we'll get into how great it was. To be a little pedantic here, and to the other guy, Travis Scott, he didn't need to be there for this iconic moment. This is an iconic moment in pro wrestling with John Cena, the biggest star in pro wrestling for the last 15, 20 years. Maybe not up there with Andre or the Hulk, but he's certainly in that top 10 category, right? You've got The Rock out there, who's a little bit older than him, a little bit more senior, who doesn't wrestle anymore. And you have Cody, who's the new blood, the modern guy. And you're seeing, the different generations of guys here. You just didn't need Travis Scott there. But so that's the only critique. Outside of that, I thought it was fantastic. Did you see this coming?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I thought a Cody heel turn was in the running.
Yes. One thing that was a little odd was the way I think great was the way Cena was like, "Hey man, we're gonna wrestle at WrestleMania, right? Yeah," and he's kind of like that, and that isn't typically how he acts. So I thought that Cody was gonna turn, and Cena was hamming it up because Cody would turn, and then Cody says the line, and it's pretty predictable, where he kind of is sitting there and he's thinking about it. He said, "I gave my soul." And then they're like, "Oh, to who'd you give your to the fans?" It's like, okay, sure. Yeah. But then for that look, that little smirk on Cena's face as he's hugging him, and then Rock going like this, you're like, "Oh, he's gonna do it." Bam, low blow. A little bit, shades of NWO formation. That level of like, what the hell, real shocker. Really a real shocker at this point in his career. Goodbye tours, retirement tour, got like 10 matches in him, 5 matches in him, these different stops. He's going to be going all over the world as a heel. Right?
I think it's great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And his willingness to pull it off, he seems like he's all in on this. John Cena, I mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Question for you.
Sure.
Do you think that this is no longer a retirement tour, where before he had so many stops before he planned to retire, and now it's saying, wait, I'm not retiring. I'm going to be the champ. I'm going to be the big heel champ.
Because it's March 1st, I think this could still be his last year, and it could be a retirement tour. He may say to people, it may be the kind of thing where I'm going to win this title and I'm going to retire as a champion and be the greatest of all time. But it's March, it's not October. So I think there's still plenty of time for Cena's retirement tour to play out. And for it to end in 2025 as he planned. They never announced all his dates anyway, which is a good thing. They've been announcing them maybe month by month. They announced that he has a bunch of European dates coming up in March.
Yeah.
And that's as far as they've gone. So they've been very good about not trying to schedule everything and play the whole storyline out publicly. They're letting it happen. They're letting it unfold, which is really good. It's good television.
Yes.
Right. It's fantastic television. You were mentioning, biggest stars in the world. The Rock is the biggest star in the world. He's got more followers across social media, they were saying, than any other male figure in the world.
He is the biggest.
So he's the biggest star in the world. John Cena is the guy that WWE needed to become a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
You want to talk about GOATs. You could say that Cena's the GOAT only because he made it work under the extra eyeballs and scrutiny of this company trying to go public and become a legitimate corporation. WWE went corporate and succeeded, and it turned into TKO Holdings because John Cena was able to be that guy. And I know some of the fans don't like that. It's not their kind of wrestling. But you cannot deny that John Cena is the guy that WWE needed to become what WWE is now. So these are the biggest stars that WWE really has ever had.
Yeah.
John Cena turned them into a worldwide publicly traded company, a big player in corporations, and The Rock is everywhere.
Yeah. That's interesting that you would say that, and that's a really good point, because you think about it, if, like, I don't know, Mick Foley is their champ and he's bleeding all over the place and he's taking shots to the head, and they're doing all. That's why they changed it to PG, not because they're like, man, we really like PG. It's like, no, we need to get the shareholders to be happy with us.
And now they found a good balance. They don't do a lot of the bleeding anymore. They don't do crazy stuff with weapons, although tonight may have been an exception. We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But, they give you the little trinket, like Cody flat out using the F word, dropping the F-bomb at the end.
Yeah.
So that worked. And so I think they found a happy medium as to what they're supposed to be, but they never get, like, they don't become a publicly traded company if Stone Cold Steve Austin is drinking beers and telling everybody to go to hell or whatever. Or they can't do that with the Attitude Era. John Cena made them a publicly traded company.
Yeah. When was it not Terry Funk? It was Jake the Snake, when he said, making fun of him for being a drunk.
Yes.
And he said, you think John 316? Well, it's us is Austin 316. Like, I'm sure
I
that
just kicked your ass. I
That
just whipped your ass.
That probably wouldn't have flown.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that later. You can't create a publicly traded company like that. And I don't think people realize how difficult it was for the WWE to do that changeover of their product when they wanted to change their company. And I don't think people appreciate how John Cena may have been the only guy who was capable of delivering that. I mean, the only other guy I can think of is if they had somehow poached Sting and made him the guy. But that was not going to happen because of how things went down with WWE and WCW. I hope that people appreciate how unique John Cena was in the last 15 years of pro wrestling, 15 to 20 years, 10 to 20 years, and what his performing ability enabled the WWE to do from a company standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great. I'm so glad that I'm finally watching WWE now, and I'm getting to watch the Cena heel turn that everybody begged for 10 years ago when Cena was getting stale.
It's very funny.
Now that he's fresh and he's back and nobody wants him to turn heel, they turn him heel. I love it.
Exactly. Like,
I love it so much I'm over talking. Anything else you want to call out about this closing segment, or do you want to go to the Elimination Chamber match? There were some great moments in the match itself. The men's Elimination Chamber goes, by my clocking here, 32 minutes and slightly more than 30 seconds. Pretty long match. They gave him plenty of time. John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins. Drew and Seth start. Then Damian Priest enters. Logan Paul enters. John Cena
Hey, Dom,
enters.
I'm having a technical difficulty, so just run with it.
Okay. Punk enters. Punk finally enters at the end. It took a while for them to get some eliminations. Drew McIntyre hit a Claymore on Cena. but kept going after Cena, who had rolled under the ring, and Damian Priest sneaks up on him from behind for a crucifix pain, which annoys the heck out of Drew. Drew is a total sore loser, claymores Damian Priest before leaving the ring, allowing Logan Paul to take advantage, hit a splash from the top of one of the pods to eliminate Damian Priest. So these two eliminations happen less than a minute and a half apart. Then CM Punk enters, and now we've got Cena, Punk, Seth Rollins, and Logan Paul in there. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul get beat down on the outside of the platform. And now we've got John Cena and CM Punk, and you can't hear them on camera, but you can see them mouthing the words. They zoom in on Cena. He says to Punk, "I miss you." Punk, who's right on the ring apron at this point, says back, "I miss you too." Punk climbs in the ring, and they have a really good exchange for several minutes. They break it up in the middle with Punk hitting a go to sleep on Logan Paul to eliminate him. Then it's back to Cena and Punk. They team up for a heart attack, which the Hart Foundation used to use on Seth Rollins. One guy holds the guy up while another guy clotheslines him. So that was a great callback to Canadian. They're in Toronto at the Rogers Center where the Blue Jays play. Cena now offers Punk a handshake. Punk says no and hugs him instead. And then they start throwing down. Great exchange between these guys. Punk reverses an STFU into an Anaconda Vice. Cena escapes. Punk hits the swinging neck breaker. Punk goes up to the top rope, but sees Seth Rollins finally getting to his feet. He turns and crossbodies Seth on the platform, gets back on the top turnbuckle. Crossbody Cena. Cena rolls through, picks him up, and hits an attitude adjustment. Punk kicks out. Seth recovers to trip Cena, who for some reason is going to the top rope. Eventually, buckle bombs Cena into the cage. Now it's Seth and Punk finally. This winds up with Punk getting the better of Seth Rollins. Punk hits the go to sleep. Seth stumbles right into Cena, who hits an attitude adjustment. Punk pins Seth Rollins. Then he teases another handshake with John Cena, but instead hits him with the go to sleep. Cena kicks out at 2. Cena with the attitude adjustment. Now it's a spot fest with everybody kicking out of the finishers. It got a little boring here, which I thought ruined it a little because John Cena and CM Punk had a really good showdown for about 5 or so minutes.
It was awesome.
But then, go ahead.
I thought I was shocked to see John Cena even win it. I thought CM Punk, it was once Seth Rollins. Well, I didn't think Seth had a shot. So I said, it's one of these two. And then I said, well, it feels like it's going to be CM Punk, right? CM Punk versus Cody makes the most sense. Or against Gunther, whatever. But, yeah.
As I started to watch the guys pair off, you've heard rumors that Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre were slated to wrestle at WrestleMania for a while now. So as I saw those two guys pair off and how that ended, okay, that makes sense. And Seth Rollins and CM Punk, it seemed like those two guys, if Drew McIntyre is now paired with Damian Priest, it seems like those two guys were going to do it. So it almost opened the door like it's Logan Paul. Are they going to pull the trigger this early on Logan Paul in the main event of WrestleMania? I thought that could have happened. Going back to the Royal Rumble, the final 3 were Jey Uso, John Cena, and Logan Paul. And I thought Jey Uso winning it was the least interesting of those 3.
Yeah.
But seeing what they've done now at the Elimination Chamber, I like the move because I like Cena in this position here.
Way better.
And Logan Paul, they got to figure out something to do with him. He's looking better in the ring. He is a big star. They got to do something with him. But I like the way this whole match played out. I think you now have 3 matches set for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which you can't ask for much more than that out of your Elimination Chamber.
No, I think everything matches up well, and the storyline's great.
Seth winds up getting involved at the end here as you're pausing there to go through your notes. Seth is very slow to leave the ring. So as CM Punk kind of drapes over the bottom rope there after clashing with Cena. Seth is still hiding on the platform, stomps CM Punk on the platform, and that allows Cena to just pull him back into the ring, lock in the STF. And,
he says he's sorry.
So, sorry, and he locks on the STF there and eliminates Punk, who basically can't respond to the referee. So that's how Punk is eliminated. They set up 3 WrestleMania matches. I thought maybe the action got a little spot festy where everybody's finisher got kicked out of towards the end.
Well, that's
but I like it. I like how this match turned out, and I really like the post-match celebration here.
well. If you think about it, you got Cena in there.
Yep.
Moves of Doom. We're on point tonight. I said John Cena playing all the hits.
Right?
I thought he would. I didn't think he would win it. I really thought that there was like very little shot that he'd win it. Because then I was like, he can't wrestle for a title, right? At WrestleMania, maybe he'll wrestle Logan Paul at WrestleMania, something like that.
That could have been interesting.
Okay, it looks like plans have changed. And
plans have changed.
He has pushed himself. He has gone from novelty retirement act to top of the card.
He's a big star, though. They needed this main event to be huge. So if The Rock was only in the periphery, they needed somebody there.
And nobody wanted to see The Rock really even wrestle. I think that was sort of like, eh.
Last year was good for you, though, right? If you wanted to see The Rock get back in there one more time,
I loved it.
He looked great in the tag team match.
Yeah, I loved it. But if you can remember when he tried to butt into the whole title picture, the crowd revolted.
Yes.
Last year. So, and then also going back from face to heel, which he kind of did tonight too. I should
love
take
the heel. I love that they're all heels.
Now it's he's a heel.
Yep.
Which is great. One thing I wanted to point out too.
Yes.
We have just a side note. Logan Paul is way over. Way over. The crowd, probably the most over person in that elimination chamber was Paul. And John Cena as a face, which is crazy. John Cena, it's not like he's stale and he needed to turn. He was Paul,
big boo when he entered when his pod opened up, right?
Who's that? Logan Paul, yeah.
Yes.
They were doing Logan sucks chants when he was in the pod. And he was like writing stuff to them. He came out with the American flag, which obviously we'll talk about that, but a lot of heat there for the American flag. And what a perfect guy to bring the American flag out too.
Yes.
I do.
Once you knew that was going to be a heel move, it's like, okay, Logan.
I do want to say I thought the Elimination Chamber match was good.
Okay.
I thought the end was amazing, the best we've seen in a while. I thought the announcing tonight sucked. I thought the announcing was the shits. When Logan Paul came out with the American flag, Michael Cole, who's the face announcer, says, "There's a reason I like him. I knew I liked him." And then Pat McAfee's like, "Yes, I love it too. I love he's got that American flag." And I'm like, okay, he's supposed to be a terrible heel. So if McAfee's going to be the heel announcer, or sometimes he transitions back and forth, Cole's always the face announcer. You're not going to be like, "Oh, I like Michael Cole because he has American flag in Canada." Like,
Cole's the play-by-play guy. Say nothing.
Yeah, or say nothing.
Let Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee do that exchange.
Yeah, so that sucked, and that's like quasi-political, their political beliefs. They were like breaking their character for their own individual political beliefs, which is not good, in my opinion. And then Pat McAfee all show was complaining about the Canadians booing the American national anthem. Now, that's when this national anthem got booed. This was before. This wasn't on the live feed. We didn't even have to know about it. We could have just moved on after it was booed. And
they could have said it once just so the Logan Paul thing made more sense.
Yeah. I saved it for then. Instead, every match, Pat McAfee was complaining about it. Each match, burying the match, just talking about the fans that booed the national anthem. And it's like, isn't Pat McAfee just a goof who
Yeah.
jokes around and says all kinds of inappropriate jokes? I didn't know his feelings would get hurt so badly and that he'd be so soft and fragile and couldn't take a little razzing from the Canadian crowd.
That happened at hockey game, NHL years and years ago. At one point, a Canadian crowd booed the playing of the American national anthem. So the next night, I think it may have been in Boston, they played the Canadian national anthem, and the Boston crowd erupted in incredible cheers. Just totally flipping it on them, just cheering throughout the Canadian national anthem, just trying to one-up them. So there's a little bit of that going back and forth with the two different nations' fan bases. It's an old hockey thing that's happened before.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was that necessary, like you're saying, for them to make it that big a deal, unless they wanted to reference the hockey incident from years ago. I mean, that would have made more sense. I wasn't thrilled by the announcing tonight. I wasn't really paying attention too much to the announcing because we had some decent action in the ring. I'm ready to put a bow on this extended main event, men's elimination chamber, and then the aftermath. Do you want to go somewhere else, or do you have more to talk about here?
Yeah, just to put a bow on what I was saying. I don't want to get. I want them to stay in character, the announcers, regardless of the situation. So Cole should pipe down when he's got the American flag, and he was the heel. He should complain about it, regardless of what he's doing. Not, that's great. He has the American flag. And then Pat McAfee needs to announce the match and not what the crowd did 2 hours ago, where he doesn't. He needs to stay on point as an announcer. He doesn't need to have his political views spewed about throughout the whole show, because I don't want politics involved at all within the pro wrestling world. Just keep it away.
He's also seems to be doing too much of his podcast tonight while he's announcing.
Yeah.
He's trying to put himself over as a character. It's at some point, call the action as a color guy.
Right. At some point, they were arguing about the price of eggs, and I felt like it was a podcast. And they're like, "Oh, what's the price? Oh, it hasn't been that since the price of eggs was $1." And then Cole says, "Well, there wasn't the bird flu then." And then they were talking inflation, and I'm like, "It was like a pod. Yeah, it's too much like a podcast. It's like podcasts are starting to take over everything."
It's like the Mets announcers during a blowout or during a rain delay when they're trying to make it interesting enough so people don't turn off the game.
But it's the Elimination Chamber with
John Cena. It's the main event of your premium live event. People are watching.
It's John Cena, it's CM Punk, and it's Seth Rollins in the Elimination Chamber. This is a banger. We do not need this price of eggs thing.
There's more than 30 combined world titles in that ring.
Icon after icon in there. Anyways, let's move to the follow before we bury our own show.
Right? I love the bow you put on it. Where to next, my friend?
All right. So maybe I think we should talk about this match.
Okay.
But it'd be great if you filled in most of it, because I was putting the baby to bed. So we talk about the men's elimination chamber. We have the women's elimination chamber. Highlights here: Bianca Belair wins it. And in addition to that, Jade Cargill at one point makes her way into the elimination chamber and attacks Naomi. And so there's going to be a lot of storyline coming out of that. I thought that was pretty cool. Some other interesting spots, but maybe you can take away some of the stuff here that you saw from this match.
Match of the night, women's elimination chamber.
Whoa!
Fantastic. Yes, you're right. At the beginning, it was Liv Morgan and Naomi starting, and Jade Cargill's music hits. And as she marches down to the ring, they've been playing up that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were the ones who attacked Jade Cargill months ago. And as Jade Cargill's marching down to the ring, Liv Morgan, on her face, she's going, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." And Jade gets in the ring, marches right up to Liv Morgan, and then pivots and attacks the crap out of Naomi. And so as Bianca Belair locked in her pod can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just screaming, banging on the pod, saying, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? Jade Cargill completely takes out Naomi. By the end of this, Naomi is sprawled out towards the entrance of the whole cage. Jade slams the cage shut on Naomi. It bounces off her. She winds up getting stretchered out. She's out. She's eliminated just because she's unable to continue. Jade, without saying a word, marches to the back, and she showed up, took out Naomi, and went to the back. Bianca Belair winds up winning this at the end, even though there's lots of questions going on. So what they're trying to play up for us is that, yes, it was Naomi who took out Jade Cargill in order to take her spot.
Mm-hmm.
The way Naomi reacted when Jade got in the ring, I think Bianca Belair took out Jade Cargill, and Naomi, unbeknownst to her, just took the beating for Bianca.
Whoa.
I think Bianca was trying to switch out Jade Cargill for someone else. And so Bianca locked in the pod. Jade can't get at her, but she can get out the person that Bianca wanted to replace her with. Without saying a word, Jade takes out her replacement, marches to the back. I still think it was Bianca Belair who took out Jade Cargill.
Wow. I love it.
Other than that, that's the hot take. I want to talk about.
Can I add to your theory?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Bianca Belair is going to face Rhea Ripley or Io Sky, likely Rhea Ripley. When that happens, Rhea's a face. So how do we turn Bianca heel, or do we turn Bianca heel? Do we want face versus face? This is a great
Maybe
opportunity.
this comes out during it.
Mm-hmm. I would say
Bianca, they've been talking about for months, just to set you up here. They've been hinting for months that Bianca Belair keeps saying that her dream match that she hasn't wrestled yet at WrestleMania would be Rhea Ripley. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, oh, you guys are doing the thing that she was, doing shoot interviews on for months and months.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks like they're giving that to us.
Which, regardless of who's a face or who's a heel, that could seal a show.
Could be a great match.
Yeah. Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, what will be better, Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Straton, or Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley?
It depends on how well Charlotte can lead Tiffany around the match.
Yeah, right.
She's going to need it, and we'll get to that later when we talk about the tag match.
Yeah.
But for now, this women's match of the night, it was fantastic. Once again, I've heard people who watch Raw a lot say that Liv Morgan was the MVP of Raw for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best match I've seen Liv Morgan wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
This is right up there with the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble main event, where she and Rhea Ripley were the first two in and the last two out. And this is, once again, they trust Liv Morgan with the finish, even though she's not going to win. She's in there the whole time. Bianca Belair wound up, Liv and Bianca are the last ones left. Bianca goes for a kiss of death. Liv counters and hits a code breaker. Liv goes for Oblivion, but Bianca stops it and then gets her up on her shoulders, finally hits the kiss of death to eliminate Liv Morgan. This match goes by my count a little more than 29 minutes, bell to bell. By the end of this match, Liv has lacerations on her elbow, her leg on more than one spot, her lower back on more than one spot, her rib cage that she was grabbing like she broke a rib. Just brutal.
No, I saw her body was so jacked up. I noticed it. It was just like a huge scrape on her back. It looked like she got
all
whipped.
sorts of punishment. At one point, she climbed the pod to get away from Bianca Belair. They fought up there, tug of war. Liv's trying to hold on to Bianca's braid to keep from falling off. Bianca yanks the hair away from her, whips her with it. That's when she gets that big old laceration on her rib.
Mm-hmm.
But then in doing that, Liv is supposed to fall off the pod and climb onto the cage, which she does. She hangs onto the cage. Bianca Belair keeps whipping her and kicking her hands. She falls down to the platform. And then by the time she rolls back into the ring a couple of minutes later, you can see like she's got cuts all over the place. And this is the hard way. She's not blading.
Mm-hmm.
She was battered in this match. And yet she wrestled. She moved around the ring as good as I've ever seen her move around the ring.
She was great.
She's a 10-year veteran at this point. This is the best I've seen her wrestle. This is the match of her life, and she lost it.
I love it. I totally agree. I was thinking I only saw the second half, and I was like, Liz killing it in this match. She really is.
Yep. Killed it the whole match.
That's good to hear.
First one in, last one out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is her thing. They trust her with the finish when she's not going to win.
You know, pound for pound, we talk about that women's division. She really is up there, right? So
she's getting better. And a match like this, maybe it was the cage and everything that where just, you knew people are going to work stiff. People are getting thrown into the cage. Roxanne Perez did a great job of using the cage. She probably used the cage better than anybody else in this match. NXT call-up. But Bianca was great as, the concern over Naomi early, and then, regrouping and getting herself together in her composure to wrestle a great match herself. Liv was spectacular throughout. Other people in the match, Roxanne Perez, great. She was the first one to be eliminated, but for her time in there, she looked really good. Alexa Bliss looked good. I mean, they're really playing up that she's this really dark character, even though she's got the pigtails and the bright colors. She's a real dark character, just persona-wise. She does a good job there. Bayley was very solid in there, even though they didn't have much story for her to do. And Naomi took the beat, took a butt whooping there at the beginning. So I think everybody did what they were supposed to do. This was just match of the night, though. It was so much fun. Liv wrestled the match of her career, I think. Bianca Belair did a good job of selling how surprised she was that Jade beat the crap out of Naomi and then recovering in order to win the match. Roxanne Perez, an NXT call-up who did really well for herself. And then you have your veteran Bayley, who did fine as well. And Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss making her return. This was a good coming back out party for her. I think everybody had something different to do with this match for their own career going forward. And I think everybody did it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about here?
No, I don't want to get too spot festy in it. Just, if you're only going to watch one match on the replay, if you have it on Netflix, watch this match. It's the first match. 29 minutes and a few more seconds. Great match.
Yeah.
Great match.
Where do you want to head to next?
Becoming the Liv Morgan fanboy, which I've been since we started doing Don't Bury the Lead. And, she got out of that Ronda Rousey program, and we went, oh, she's not bad.
She's come a far way, hasn't she?
Right. She got out of the Ronda Rousey thing. Like, first impressions aren't everything. We saw her in the finish of that Ronda Rousey program where Ronda had almost checked out already. And then Liv moved on to something else, and she's been great ever since. We don't see her a lot because she's mostly on Raw. But now that she's on SmackDown more.
What a funny error when we were watching Ronda Rousey quiet quit on us.
Right.
We were like, what's going on? She should be so much better. And I'm like, I don't want to be mean, but blah, 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 blah. And then she does a podcast. She's like, oh, yeah, I was done with the company. So they just kept making her the champ, even though she hated being there and didn't want to be I was like, why?
They put a singles belt on her, put a tag belt on her, had her sleepwalk through a WrestleMania match.
Sleepwalk, you're right. She thought pro wrestling was a joke at this point and was done with it. And they just kept giving her the belt. It's why would you do this? Why wouldn't you just sit her down in catering,
It's I want you to leave. Not yet. You have to be our champion.
Right. Oh, the Vince era.
I don't like wrestling. No, you have to be our champion.
This isn't for me. Yeah, well, you've got a title match and you have to be at all these different appearances. Yeah,
But I love it. What do you think about? You've talked about Bianca and Rhea. Who's going to be the heel? Can that work? Face versus face. Heel versus heel gets awkward because the crowd wants to cheer for somebody and doesn't know who to. Face versus face, though, can work.
face versus face can work, but it doesn't always work. So it can work,
That's right.
but you're up against it a little bit because
are.
it's not so obvious who you need to cheer for and then cheer against. Someone needs to kind of start to act a little heelish, and then they kind of become the heel.
There you go.
Was it LA Knight versus AJ Styles? Was that face versus face?
Sort of. AJ was trying to turn heel.
Yeah, okay.
And I think he was getting some boos.
Yeah, okay, so he was the heel. I'm trying to think of a good face versus face. Anyways.
I think Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley at the WrestleMania we saw, WrestleMania 39. I mean, people were still cheering like crazy for Charlotte. She came out and ended the Ronda Rousey singles title reign that last SmackDown of 2022 when we were watching.
Yeah.
And then I think Charlotte stayed kind of face going into that match. Rhea was supposed to be a heel, but was turning face. Whenever she was away from Judgment Day, she got cheered. So that match became face versus face.
Oh my God, Tom, that's so funny. I know I don't want to get too off topic, but Ronda Rousey was wrestling a match, and it was really hard fought, and she barely won. And then Charlotte comes out and then challenges her, and then she loses to Charlotte because she's so beat up and tired. She didn't even lose it clean, the belt.
Yes.
Even though she was quitting.
Yes.
She could have just laid on her back 1, 2, 3 and had anyone pin her. She could just gone home. No, they wanted to keep her strong for some reason.
Yes. To have a tag title run and then turn on Shayna Baszler and then have a weird SummerSlam match. But yes. Speaking of people playing to the crowd for heels, how about Tiffany Straton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae? Shortest match of the night, 11 minutes, and I have around 40 seconds here. The baby faces win this. Trish Stratus stuns Nia Jax on the second turnbuckle, then hits the second turnbuckle bulldog. Candice tries to break up the pin with a moonsault off the ropes, but winds up hitting Nia Jax instead. Hot tag to Tiffany Stratton. Top turn moonsault on Nia Jax. She gets the clean pinfall on Nia Jax. The baby faces win. Trish Stratus, Canadian hometown hero. Nia Jax doing a great job of playing to the crowd as a heel here. She's mocking Trish Stratus's raised finger salute to the crowd and getting the extra jeers. She mocks the Tiffy time gesture, very demonstrative, gets the jeers. I love that Nia Jax understands what it means to be a heel.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to... so that's one thing that I'm throwing on your plate there that you might want to talk about. The next thing I want to throw out here, Tiffany Stratton, are they protecting her too much? Trish Stratus is doing most of the work in this match for 8+ minutes out of what becomes a less than 12-minute match before Tiffany Stratton gets the hot tag. Are they protecting Tiffany Stratton too much? That's why when you asked earlier about what's going to be the better women's world title match at WrestleMania, I said if Charlotte can lead Tiffany through the match, maybe that one. But it's an if.
Really goofy. Trish Stratus should have been the hot tag in Canada.
Right.
And
she's 50 years old.
She's 50 years old.
And hasn't wrestled.
She's 50 years old and it doesn't actively wrestle. And Tiffany is a very a solid.
She might be the best athlete in the women's roster. She's a world-class gymnast.
She is a world-class gymnast.
She's in her 20s. She's the best athlete in the women's division. Just standing there as a 50-year-old woman who doesn't wrestle, gets beat up for 10 minutes from 2 other people.
She's doing the Jade Cargill hot tag back there, you know? Like, all right. It's like Jade Cargill, Bianca, Belair, but the roles were reversed. If you had Jade in there the whole time, you know? But yeah, so some things I wanted to point out about this match. So the Canadian crowd is wild. They had a "You Can't Wrestle" chant, which is a mean chant to do to Nia Jax. I disagree with that
I
chant,
disagree too.
but they still did it.
Mhm.
Then they started chanting Canada, Canada, Canada. This is after they booed the U.S. national anthem, and later on they start chanting ECW for another match.
Yes.
And all I could think was, am I in South Philly booing things in poor taste, chanting "You can't wrestle," ECW? Like, these are Philadelphia characteristics when you're booing things in poor taste. You know, oh, and as a Philadelphian myself, I lived there for 10 years. Hats off to you, Canada. You did it. You really showed out tonight. You were really a classless group of monsters chanting "You can't wrestle," the meanest chant you can chant.
Right? As someone who's improved a heck of a lot over the last year and a half.
Yeah,
But overall, since you brought that up, overall, do you like this crowd?
They seemed muffled at times,
Okay.
except for the Sami Zayn KO match. I think that was the one the crowd was the most into. They seemed pretty muffled for the whole Elimination Chamber entrances. Like, they weren't
Okay.
so crazy about Punk, and maybe that's just more of a fact of, like, you know,
I like them more for that because I wasn't crazy about the entrances either.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, let's go.
yeah. They weren't. Maybe that's really it. It was they drag on the entrances.
Maybe they really were a Philly crowd. Like, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. Hurry it up. Hurry it up.
But overall, do you like the crowd being into it? Some of the things, the ways they got involved, the way they responded to the wrestlers.
Yeah, I thought I thought this was a very interesting crowd. One of the more interesting crowds I'd seen in WWE, because usually they're just kind of doing like, "This is awesome," and it wasn't just like the "This is awesome," right? It was like, we're chanting Canada, we're booing the flag, we're chanting ECW, you can't wrestle. We're not going to go crazy for the entrances. You know, they weren't giving a lot just to give, which I kind of liked. You know, in France and the UK, they give too much, and it kind of overshadows it. No, they were cheering at the right times, right?
Yeah, and perhaps as an homage to John Cena, when Tiffany Straton finally got the hot tag, she did her 5 moves of doom. We got the handspring back elbow on Candice LeRae, an Alabama slam on Candice LeRae, and then a spine buster on Nia Jax. Eventually, she hit her top turn moonsault.
Yep. So one more match here to talk about.
Yes,
Kevin
and you
Owens,
already mentioned maybe this was the one the crowd was most in because it involved 2 homegrown Canadians, right?
Yeah. Certainly a homer crowd tonight with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn into the Canada thing. Kevin Owens goes over Sami Zayn in this matchup. Very brutal, lots of weapons. After the match, RKO comes down and confronts Kevin Owens, starts beating him up, hitting him with a bunch of RKOs. And yeah, at the end of the day, Randy Orton is back and he is attacking Kevin Owens. But maybe wrapping back into the match here, what'd you think of this one, Dom?
This was an unsanctioned match, and they fought all over through the crowd for a while. At one point, Sami Zayn does those side suplex slams of Kevin Owens through 2 different beverage tables. This match overall goes a little more than 27 and a half minutes, bell to bell. You're right. Sami Zayn, they were teasing that he still has an injured neck from getting package pile drive by Kevin Owens several weeks ago. Kevin Owens eventually, to finish this match, has Sami Zayn on the outside, puts a folding chair around his neck, rams him into 2 different ring posts, power bombs him onto the ring apron. Sami tries to fight out of a second attempt initially, but Kevin Owens beats him down again, hits the second power bomb on the ring apron, rolls him into the ring, pins him. Then afterwards, Kevin Owens exposes some of the concrete outside on the floor, teases that he's going to pile drive Sami Zayn on the concrete floor. That's when you hear Randy Orton's music. Kevin Owens breaks what he's doing with Sami, gets back into the ring, faces the entrance just because he doesn't want to get jumped from behind by Randy Orton. And he's egging him on. Come on, get in the ring. You want to fight me? Get in the ring. Randy Orton obliges, gets in the ring, beats him down, couple of RKOs, and then it looked like they were setting up for that. Randy Orton used to do the punt where he would just kick a guy in the head.
Weird.
That's his move. They
I
said
didn't know that.
They looked like he was setting up for the punt, and Kevin Owens just managed to roll out of the ring and get himself out of harm's way. Randy Orton gets to celebrate. I mean, another big return. So we got Jade Cargill early, Randy Orton a little late as far as big returns here. Lot on the line. I thought Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn at some point would be a WrestleMania match as these two guys are winding down their career. I was surprised that they did an Elimination Chamber. I could see it because it's in Canada and just the crowd will be hot for it, and they did it as an unsanctioned match. You mentioned the ECW chant. Sami found a folding chair under the ring that had barbed wire wrapped on it, but I'm wondering if it was not really barbed wire. Because he hit Kevin Owens with it a few times, and Kevin Owens did not bleed. And he dropped toe hold Kevin Owens face first into it, and Kevin Owens was like, fine. I mean, he was selling that he went face first into a chair. Wound up exploder suplexing him through it as well. But whatever. Yes, that's when the crowd gave us an ECW chant. So very good for them for knowing their wrestling history.
Right.
What say you about this match? You said the crowd was into this most of all. Did that make this a better match for you or not? And what do you say the match overall?
I said that it was cheap, but a lot of fun. And I think it was good. A good cheap way to do things.
Okay.
There was a lot of fun stuff. Not an American classic, not your 5-star. They're running around, they're hitting each other with weapons. Quite frankly, I saw a bunch of spots. I was like, this feels like an NJCW match when we had weapons, where we would just randomly be hitting each other with different weapons. Not a bad thing, not a great thing. Just a pretty good match, right? Specifically, the Kevin Owens spot I have done before, where you swing the chair, the person gets out of the way, and it goes bang and hits you.
Yes, you hit the top rope with the chair when the other guy ducks, and the chair rebounds and
hits
bam.
you.
Yep.
It's the easiest bump in the planet. All the stuff they're doing is very easy. And I think we've really relied on it sometimes because it's easy. You don't have to be a good wrestler to whack each other with weapons. You know, you just have to be willing to do it.
Yes.
So I do want to say my favorite spot of the night is when Kevin Owens hit Little Nate. I absolutely love that. Little Nate takes the bump. Oh, and he's an old man now. Like hitting Little Nate, like he's got to be one of those refs that, like, oh, come on. He's like your favorite ref, right?
Right.
He's in that meme where he runs down. You ever see that like video of him running and sprinting in, and it's a super long pathway? Oh, I got to show it to you. And
he's sprinting down there. Yeah, you figure maybe one of the younger refs could be the guy to take the ref bump instead of what am I doing tonight? Nothing, except you need to run down to the ring and have Kevin Owens beat the crap out of you. Yes, Kevin Owens pulled the initial ref into the way of a Sami Zayn haluva kick attempt. And then after Kevin Owens gets a pin cover onto Sami Zayn, he's got him pinned for several seconds, but there's no ref. And it's your fault, Kevin.
I want to show you.
It's your fault.
I want to show you the meme.
Nate runs down. There we go.
So this is typically like people use this as a meme, like when you got to go to the bathroom, when you got to do this, when you're late for work. I don't know. There's funnier ways to do it, but they use this as the thing because he's running so quickly down.
Yes.
And it's super long and far. I don't know why the internet's picked up on it, but yeah. So anyways, he's got to be liked as a result of being part of that meme. And also, he's an old man. You know, you're hitting. He's been
around a long time. Yes.
But anyways,
yeah. So Kevin Owens gets mad because it took him a long time to run down the aisle and be the next referee after Kevin Owens got the other referee injured. Kevin Owens takes out his frustration on Little Nate. Now there's a third ref in there. And eventually, towards the end of this match, they start trying to ask Kevin Owens, can you just stop this? Just stop the match. And Kevin Owens keeps refusing. They're playing up that Kevin Owens is this brutal heel at this point. Owens is playing it well. I don't know how accurate this is. They announced at the beginning that he weighed in at 242 pounds. That's a lot of weight off from where he was when he was near 300. He looks pretty good in that ring. He looks like he can move around. I also want to point out to people that, hey, wherever you're watching us tonight on the live stream, head on over to YouTube, find Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel. While you're there, you can go through the archive. You not only get the edited videos, John, that you make and the hashtag shorts that are under 60 seconds, you can have an archive of all these live streams. And while you're there, search for a special thing we did a year and a half ago or so. Which wrestler would win in a real fight? The way we did the brackets, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were paired off in round one, and we couldn't figure out how to parse this. Who would win against them? So in a way, this match tonight was a Don't Bury the Lead special of who would win in a real fight.
Yeah, they were matched up against each other. I forget who won. You'll have to find out if you watch the video. I wonder if we redid it again now that I know a lot more about YouTube and know a lot more about thumbnails, if that would go anywhere. But anyways,
just wanted to do a big old callback to Don't Bury the Lead. We are over 1,000 subscribers. Help us climb the next mountain. Help us go 1,100, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 is that in the works. Thank you to everybody who's made this possible so far, and there's plenty of room on the Don't Bury the Lead universe. Join us. Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel on YouTube. Anything more to say about this show, John?
Dom, how can I follow that? Absolutely not. But I think, is it drive time?
It is the road to WrestleMania, and it's the road to you and I putting the finishing touches on the wrestling event that we just watched tonight. It's the thumb drive. That's where you and I distill this entire Elimination Chamber into a simple thumbs up or a thumbs up. There are no ties. There are also no star ratings, no letter grades, no number grades. You're taking this course pass, fail.
Dom, we're not Dave Meltzer. We don't give out star ratings. No. We don't do 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome. We don't do 2 stars at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. No. We don't do star ratings. We just give a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. So, without further ado, Dom, what are we going to say with this show? 3, 2, 1. Oh, thumbs up. Why'd you give it a thumbs up?
Middle was for me, but between the start and the very finish, this may have been the best premium live event bookends that I've watched since we've been doing this since September of 2022.
Wow. Bold statement.
This is up there with Royal Rumble 2023, where we got the great Women's Royal Rumble won by Rhea Ripley. And then the end of that was the Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens match where Sami Zayn turns on Roman Reigns and the crowd went berserk in San Antonio. Yeah. So this was up there with that as far as how good the bookends to the premium live event were. I can't give it a thumbs down after I tell you that, your first impression of the show and the closing scenes as they go off the air, those for better or worse are weighted extra, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. The opener,
I had to give it a thumbs up after how great it was that they went off the show and how great the beginning was. What say you? Why your thumbs up?
So I missed the first match, unfortunately, and watched the other 2. And even going into the men's elimination chamber, I was like, this better be good, or I think I'm not going to give it a thumbs up. And I haven't given a PLE a thumbs down yet, so this will be the first one. And then they blew it off the roof with the finish. The finish of the match, I thought the Elimination Chamber was good. I thought the Punk Cena stuff was really cool. I'm not eventually seeing Punk and Cena kind of play their old classics together, and I never really watched them wrestle too much, but I could tell it was like one of those things the crowd was really into, because it's just the nostalgia of those two wrestling again. And then we get the John Cena heel turn, which is the heel turn everyone's wanted to see for a very long time, myself included. I gotta say, it from a timing perspective, better late than never, right? But
best late than never. This is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, it all adds up, and it gives. And we talked about this before. There's too many faces.
Yeah,
What
right?
better way to get a way over heel, get a heel that's going to be way over, than flip Cena? Whoa!
Did you ever think Rock and Cena would be heels?
Both heels.
Both heels. Right? They get still got I think there's just a lot of talent, babyface and heel at the top of the card now in the WWE. But yeah, great to see. And we'll see what the crowd does responding to this as they go to Raw, they go to SmackDown. It's a long road to WrestleMania. It's about 7 weeks.
I wonder.
We'll see how people react in this European tour coming up. So you're going to get to see the foreign crowds and the foreign audiences. And, they were all amped up just to see John Cena one more time. Like, what's that going to be like for them? I mean, do they want to cheer anyway because they're seeing John Cena, or do they want to play along and just boo the crap out of him?
Yeah. Really good stuff, though. Let's go ahead and, Dom, I got the jacket on. I'm a little chilly.
I've got the jacket on. The weather's warming up around here in South Jersey. It's March.
Yeah.
March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. We're getting there. We're warming up. But no matter the temperature outside, it's always hot in Don't Bury the Lead territory. It's also cheap here.
That's right.
It's cheap heat.
It's cheap heat. Cheap Heat is a segment where we talk about WWE, AEW, other trending topics in the wrestling world. This is, where we this is pretty much our backbone of our channel, where we create small, shorter videos off of these trending topics, off of this segment here. Sometimes we'll release the full segment. The algorithm loves trending topics, so we talk about them. And we'll go through them today. So, Dom, without further ado, let me hear the first cheap heat topic.
Wrestling is bigger than just the shows that we watch and even just the promotion that we mostly watch, and this is our chance to do it. This is Ric Flair. Ric Flair from WrestleZone. I made this the lead story of Cheap Heat because of what happened tonight at Elimination Chamber. This is Ric Flair revealing which WWE superstar he wants to break his world title record. He named his daughter Charlotte Flair instead of John Cena, but he gave his top 3. His daughter Charlotte Flair, who I think has 14 world titles on the women's side, but the other 2 he mentioned in his top 3 were John Cena, who has 16, tied with the Nature Boy. Do you want to take a guess as to who the third person he mentioned was?
Well, I can tell you who it isn't going to be. Andrade.
Not Andrade.
And maybe
it's Randy Orton, who we saw come back tonight.
Oh,
so
yeah.
2 of the 3 people Flair mentioned here. Although Ric Flair considers himself a 21-time world champion. I don't know what kind of math he's doing.
Steiner math.
He's doing Steiner math. 21 and a third world champions there. So Cena, if he wins, would have his 17th. Charlotte Flair and Randy Orton, I think they're both at around 14. So these are the people. Who do you want to see break Ric Flair's record if you want to see anyone break it? Or do you think that John Cena and Ric Flair being tied should stay that way forever?
Gotta go heel Cena, right?
if Cena wins the record breaking one finally as a heel, that would be so appropriate because Ric Flair was a great heel champion throughout his career.
Yeah.
Sometimes was a face, but mostly was a great heel champion. So yeah, Cena finally turning heel, that might be fantastic.
Is Cena
And
going to
now
be
there's a real
wearing like
shot
a?
at it, isn't there? Pardon,
an
go
a-
ahead.
Is he going to spray paint NWO on the title and everything like that? Because it is very Hogan-esque what he's doing.
He makes like a Soul or Final Boss or something, or the Rock's champ. I don't know what's going on.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know either.
It's got to be something. Do you want to see John Cena break the record?
If it goes Cena versus Cody and Cena's a heel, how do you not want to see heel Cena win the title?
It may be Ric Flair may get his wish that one of these three is going to do it. And Charlotte Flair may get her 15th at WrestleMania as well. And maybe, there's more down her road because she's still got a career to go.
Cena's been so excellent as a
Yes.
face for so long.
Yes.
To turn him heel, they could get a year out of him, right?
Okay. Does it make you wish that he wasn't retiring?
Yet no, it makes me wish he wasn't retiring.
There you go.
Makes his character so much more interesting. And the thing was, he just has those 5 moves of doom, and he has the same shtick over and over and over. And it's like he's finally going to branch out and try something different. Like it's going to end up in New Japan, and he's going to be in New Japan, and he's going to be doing WWE stuff. Like he has stayed in such a boring lane his entire career.
Yes.
And he hasn't tried anything different ever. Ever. He hasn't done anything. So to see him do this now is so exciting.
Yep.
So.
It's maybe they're doing the Jerry Seinfeld where you leave before people get tired of you. Like maybe John Cena, as really doing the nostalgic retirement tour, he was afraid that people would get too tired of him. Nobody's going to be tired of John Cena turning heel.
No, it's going to be amazing.
This is going to be a lot of fun. So Ric Flair, Nature Boy, you may get your wish one way or the other here. It may be Charlotte, it may be Cena, maybe it's Randy Orton one day. But I thought that would be a good way to lead into this because of what we just saw at Elimination Chamber. Next up, MJF. You tell me how much of this is shoot, how much of this is work, or is it, it turned out to be both and it was just a good thing to bring into the storyline. MJF removed his AEW tattoo. ComingSoon.net is wondering, is he done with Tony Khan's promotion? Did you see this on Dynamite? What do you make of it?
Well, I saw this segment when he was removing the tattoo. It's probably fake. And ultimately, he was new tattoo with the caption "Bet on Yourself" featuring a poker chip and the AEW logo. What is this? Oh,
and then on the latest Dynamite, he delivered a traumatic pre-tape promo where a doctor performed laser tattoo removal, visibly erasing the AEW logo he had inked to commemorate his return in May of 2024. How much of this is shoot? How much of this is work?
I think it's a work.
Okay.
And I think it's a weird work, and I'm just going to say it because I got to be honest with MJF here. I think this whole like tribalism angle is not working as well as it did years ago. When AEW first started, they could really get over with being like, "Oh, WWE does this." But now like WWE is pretty hot and AEW is pretty hot. And I think people are a little sick of the tribalism stuff. I don't really get the gist, or at least I am.
Okay.
So doing this thing where you're like, oh, well, I'm no longer AEW, so I'm going to remove the tattoo. People are just going to be like, well, okay, rather than, oh, man, don't ever leave AEW. You're evil because you're going to leave AEW. It's like, all right, go. Fans are too smart for it.
Well, especially in the age of the internet where we already know that reports have suggested otherwise. MJF signed a multi-million-dollar long-term contract with AEW, securing his future with the company. So it looks like work. But, I mean, if he really did get that part of the tattoo removed, then, boy, they're really laying into this one,
Yeah, it's very weird. I just thought it was strange. It didn't make me that much more interested in him versus Hangman, right?
Hangman Adam Page, right?
Yeah.
Interesting stuff from AEW. MJF, what have you thought of his return the last, it's less than a year now that he's been back.
The internet's finally starting to turn on him a little bit. And the reason being is that his act is sort of, he kind of keeps doing the same thing over and over and over and over. He even does like the same way that he sets up his rivalries. He's like, I'm not going to wrestle you tonight. This guy will, and this guy will, and the next week this guy will. He does that like every time. And then he's also doing like a lot of the same promos over and over, like, oh yeah, this town sucks because of this, your team sucks, whatever, like the cheap heat. But I still like him, and I think he's a big star. And anytime he's on the mic, you're gonna listen. What was really rough is he came back and wrestled Adam Cole, and Adam Cole and him had a terrible feud. So he just needs another new feud, and he's gonna wrestle Hangman Adam Page, and Hangman's awesome. So I think that they'll do good.
He stated during apparently the Dynamite promo that his decision was influenced by the fans. Maybe MJF reads the interwebbies. Maybe he listens to what fans are saying there, and he's playing into it. We'll see. Glad to hear that you watch both promotions and you're tired of the tribalism. Each company puts out a different but successful in their own way product in your eyes now, right? That's kind of what I've been getting from you as you describe it.
Yeah, and I get the vibe that everyone is sort of tired of it too.
Okay.
So
good.
I think there's two companies. They have different stuff that you can like for. AEW's number 2, WWE's number 1 in the ratings and the popularity and the mainstream stuff. But AEW still puts on really good shows. And it doesn't mean that WWE doesn't put on good shows. They also do. So
very good. Thank you, comingsoon.net, for that report there. Over to Fightful Select. Ryan Nemeth, brother of Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, files a lawsuit against AEW, Tony Khan, and CM Punk. This is our CM Punk portion of Cheap Heat.
Right. There's always one.
There's got to be something. The lawsuit against AEW and CM Punk was apparently Ryan Nemeth, when he was in AEW, he felt like he was in danger because CM Punk was very aggressive backstage. Lots of, he was worried that Phil Brooks, CM Punk, would come back to the wrestling circuit following his suspension and assault Nemeth. Following Phil Brooks' return, CM Punk's return to wrestling, he assaulted Nemeth in the male talent locker room in a menacing manner. Brooks shouted at Nemeth, "Do we have an effing problem? Do we need to step outside and handle this like men?" At the time, CM Punk also had some pull with the brass. I don't know if he was quite as high up as the vice presidents were, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, who actually were vice presidents in the company. But apparently, Nick Nemeth was concerned. His well-known in the industry benching occurred after this, so he's suing. I don't know what to make of this lawsuit. I did not know about the feud or the backstage anything, but it's interesting that it's kind of lawsuit season around here. We've covered Vince McMahon's various lawsuits over the years here, and Don't Bury the Lead. I think Vince was our original Cheap Heat for all of the off-field stuff that was happening to him, out of the ring stuff. So moving on from this one, of course, is a report from Fightful Select. Back over to WrestleZone. This is good Punk. The other one was bad Punk. This is good Punk. Ricky Starks, who's now in WWE and NXT, his new name is Ricky Saints. He reunites with CM Punk ahead of his NXT in-ring debut. And this is Ricky Saints talking about how CM Punk really pushed him in a good way when they were both in AEW together. So this is good CM Punk. Somebody saying good stuff about CM Punk. So thank you, WrestleZone, for that report on the other side. Over to ITR Wrestling. an interview with Drew McIntyre talking about how he held off in his rivalry with CM Punk from really going for a kill switch when CM Punk delivered a good line for him. Their promos apparently are not scripted. So these guys, they're just going at it. You know, they have their bullet points and they're just in character and going at it. This was March 25th, almost a year ago. And this was pretty good. McIntyre brought up that he was always the chosen one. Punk responded, "Who chose you? What was his name? You got the balls to say you're the chosen one. What paragon of good virtue chose you?" And this was trying to paint Drew McIntyre as he was one of Vince McMahon's boys. And so Drew said, like, at the time he wanted to say the same guy who fired you on your wedding night, but he decided not to do it. What's going through my mind is the same person that fired you on your wedding day, but I'm a professional. I think by that point, people started seeing what I was capable of on the microphone, like it was a new thing. I don't care who it is. I can go toe-to-toe with anyone, even Punk. It's just two guys going at it, two guys that have some banter, two guys that genuinely don't like each other in a place as hot as Chicago where Punk's from. Then that one line, once we'd finally go back and forth so much, it was a choice for me to make. Do I go back and then see where we end up? Or do I bite my tongue and say, okay, this round belongs to you. I'll be a professional. I'll do it for the company as well as the de facto babyface, even though I'm the real babyface of the situation. So I let him have it. So this is sort of an inside wrestling peek into what goes on in these promos. Not totally scripted. And it's not only up to these guys to come up with great lines and to play off each other with the pauses and the timing, but it's also up to them to realize when the other guy got in a really good shot and you have to leave him and sell for him. So this was Drew McIntyre selling for CM Punk on the mic. This was a great feud.
Yeah, it was a great feud. Really good I like that concept of going out there, feeling the crowd, improvising, because then it feels a lot more real than, oh, memorize these 50 lines, go say these 50 lines. Yep. No, like say it from your heart and then go out there and do it. And you have your bullet points.
It's like wrestling a match.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you're not scripting the whole match beforehand. You're just out there and it's two professionals. You're going move for move, just with words instead of with wrestling moves. And you're doing it. I wanted to bring up these. CM Punk is all over the news. In fact, don't bury the lead. Go ahead.
Go back to it real quick. Sorry.
Sure.
I wanted to add one thing just in case we make a video out of it.
Yes.
I really wish he said that line. It's such a banger. Oh, man. If he had said that, though, you would have been like, ooh. He would have turned face.
He almost would have, right?
Yeah. They would have been like, damn, he got you, man.
The same person that fired you on your wedding day.
Sorry, go back to don't bury.
I love it. Yes, it was a great line. You're right. Well, there's your hot take, Drew. Now that you're telling us what was on your mind and what you didn't say, some of us wanted you to say it.
It was right there. Say it.
CM Punk has been in the news. I wanted to bring these up not only because everybody has their own opinion on CM Punk, so does The Undertaker. And you, John, put together an edited video of this. The Undertaker shoots on CM Punk's WWE return. Hot video for us here. Getting a lot of likes. Getting a lot of views on it. It's only about a day old as we record this here. Got some comments as well. People are talking about it. Head on over to Don't Bury the Lead on YouTube, a wrestling channel. Don't Bury the Lead, a YouTube channel. Find this video. Give it a watch. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Head down in the comments. Tell us what you think about it. Have a conversation in there. We really like when this happens, even if you disagree with our takes on things. Join the conversation, join the party. And if you haven't subscribed yet while you're there, hit the subscribe button or hit the join button for extra levels of access. Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel. John, we're all over this CM Punk story.
We are all over it. Yeah, you get the real footage of the shoot interview and then us talking about it. And I say some things how I feel about CM Punk. And guess what? I say some things in there, and guess what? You could go in the comment section if you want. And I said, damn it, they're going to hit me in the comment section. And Dom said, let them come after you. And
Yeah, right.
so I unloaded. And then we did some inside jokes too, which are great.
Yes, of course. And I was going to play this, but I don't want YouTube to flag us for playing our own video during our video.
No, you can play it. You should be good.
And then give us a strike because we played our own video during our own video. So there's on Busted Open Radio, it's The Undertaker with Bully Ray. And they go through Undertaker saying that he's been impressed by CM Punk since he's been back. And then, of course, there's you and I talking about it. And, we're doing a callback to our own stuff for a while. Pro wrestling is real. NASCAR is fake. There's another one even that we did. Pro wrestling is real. Democracy is fake. We have that too from the RNC when Hulk Hogan went up there and cut a promo tearing his shirt off.
I cracked up at that when you said democracy is fake.
And it finishes up, Undertaker has an interesting relationship with Vince McMahon. He's been able to separate Vince the creative from Vince the superior, the supervisor and boss and CEO of a lot of people behind the scenes. You cannot like Vince McMahon, how he handled business behind the scenes and how he treated employees, and also acknowledge that Vince McMahon had a good mind for this carnival barking stuff that we call pro wrestling. And he was instrumental in Mark Calloway becoming the Undertaker and having a great long career. So good video there. It runs barely 5 minutes. You've got 5 minutes to invest in Don't Bury the Lead. Head on over and check that out.
Yeah.
Back over to coming soon.net. Becky Lynch on her WWE, what that looks like in the future. She was rumored to be going to the premiere of Raw on Netflix. Wound up not being there. We haven't seen her since. She's still a big star. She still could have great matches with people. It's not like she was losing so much of her in-ring ability that it was gone and you're like, oh, it's time for her to hang them up. She's just been out. Maybe they just don't have plans for her yet. Do you want to see Becky Lynch back? Simple question. I'll ask you, John. I'll ask everybody who's watching in the live stream and in the replay. Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments. Do you want to see Becky Lynch back for at least one more decent run in the WWE?
Yeah, for sure. It'd be great to see her back. I am confused as to why she isn't. I'm really confused, honestly, because if she's healthy, she should be out there. And is she saying that she's not? Or
in early 2025, reports confirmed that she re-signed a new contract, making headlines across the pro wrestling world. She was on her book tour for a little bit, taking some time off to raise her young daughter. That she and Seth Rollins, a married couple, have a daughter together. Despite signing a new deal, Lynch has yet to return to the WWE. I guess a lot of people are asking her about it. Maybe she's slow playing the answer, saying, I don't know the answer to those questions, because she's trying to be, I don't mean to be in any way cagey, which is exactly what someone would say when they were trying to be cagey.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it, but we haven't seen her back, and people thought she'd be back by now.
Well, I mean, if she's not back by Elimination Chamber, I don't know when she'll come back. Maybe they'll do this sometimes if she's not ready to go, or like they don't have a spot for her, or it's gonna be tough to get her up and ready for a WrestleMania match. She'll be a surprise person on that Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
Okay.
Because that's always a big show. Or she makes a return then. You should probably that Monday night, and then she's like, oh man, she's back. And
all right, that's a good call there.
Yeah, that'd be my bet now, because it's been. I don't look. It seems like everything's pretty set in stone with WrestleMania.
Yes, a lot of irons in the fire at this point, and it looks like they got a lot of good matches there. And because she hasn't been wrestling, they'd be really time crunched to put her into something in the 7 weeks between now and WrestleMania.
And then suddenly have her forced into a WrestleMania match where she has to really perform. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't just go into those matches, right? You gotta.
Yep.
They gotta be your match of the year kind of stuff.
Yep. Agreed totally. Back to WrestleZone. Mina Shirakawa, who's had some matches against AEW stars, including Mercedes Moné in this picture here. She named a current WWE star as her dream match. Have you seen Mina Shirakawa in any of the crossover stuff from Japan and AEW? Can
I
you tell
have.
us what she's like? Go ahead.
I have. She's a throwback character,
Okay.
if you will. She's more of a diva type.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's unusual for the Japanese style, isn't it?
She could still work, but her thing is that she's hot. So, and she's not afraid to say it.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's like, yeah, I know I'm hot kind of person. So that's her gimmick, is that she's hot.
She named Asuka as her absolute dream match. Would you? Asuka's been injured for a while. That's another person that we want to see back here. Would you like to see Mina Shirakawa and Asuka in some sort of dream match scenario?
I would watch Asuka wrestle a broom. So
I was just going to say the same thing. I would watch Asuka in any match.
So I would definitely watch that. I haven't seen a lot of this girl. She's kind of a comedy act. She's been portrayed as in AEW, but the crowd likes her. So the crowd definitely likes her.
Very good. I respect Asuka so much. I want to say Asuka-san as her answer, senpai. Asuka-san always guides me in the ring, even the respectful naming of her there as Asuka-san. She gives me advice, messages me every time. I love her. I respect her deeply. But now I'm in Stardom. She's in WWE, so it's difficult. Still, it's my dream. Fantastic. Yes. And on that note, I wanted to put this in there also for us to say, we like Asuka. Asuka, if you're healthy enough and able to wrestle and you want to give it one more go, like Becky Lynch, we want to see you make another go of it in the WWE. She was fantastic for what I saw of her the year and a half that we got to watch her since we've been doing Don't Bury the Lead. Come on back, Asuka, whether it's to fight Mina Shirakawa or to wrestle anybody else in the WWE. Come on back, Asuka. We want to see it.
Yes. Agreed.
Couple of feel-good stories to end here. We've got a TikTok video of people who, this user here said, my cousin and his wife walked into their wedding reception to Jey Uso's intro and the entire reception yeeted for them. I don't know if we'll get a strike for doing this. I'll play it anyway. You could see them walking down here. Can't hear the music anyway when I play it. But as we move ahead here, everybody's yeeting. Jey Uso is over, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Look at this. Jey Uso is crazy over at some wedding reception he's not even at.
Dom,
fantastic.
Dom, I think this is cool because it's so obscure.
Yes.
Like the Jey Uso theme song, like this is not Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? This is like a modern wrestler. And you get a nice little venue they're in, and everyone is doing they must have had to tell them beforehand, hey, this is what you need to do. But Jey Uso's got to be feeling pretty good about himself right now. He got a Royal Rumble win, and he's got like regular people doing his yeets. So
this has happened before. This happened at like Cleveland Cavaliers games, I think, in the NBA, where people were yeeting. Is Jey Uso weirdly becoming a pop culture phenomenon? Why they had him win Royal Rumble and are now facing him, having him wrestle for a world title in their biggest show of the year at WrestleMania 41.
Part of it, right? You could say part of it for sure.
Yeah, he's pop culture now. Jey Uso is creeping into pop culture.
I mean,
good for him.
Whenever they do the entrances of, and the best entrance in WrestleMania when I went to go see it was without question his, because it's so fun to go like this.
Okay.
It's so and doing it with a huge stadium, like it was just a fun. It's just a fun entrance.
Full disclosure, I still have no idea what yeet means.
You don't know how to yeet. You don't know.
I have no idea what yeet means. All I know about it is that it's apparently the opposite of no yeet. I have no idea what yeet means. Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the comments. Call me a moron if you want. Tell me what yeet means. Help a guy out.
What did Pat McAfee call himself today with Stephanie McMahon?
The commercial they ran during the premium live event. I forget.
He called himself like a doofus or a moron or an idiot.
He was kind of putting himself over, though. Like he was like the goofball that everybody loved.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't know if I'm a goofball, and I don't know if everybody loves me. I just know that I don't know what yeet means. That's all I know. One more here for you. Angel Garza from Los Garza. I've been talking about how I really like what him and Humberto have been doing recently. I want to see them get a push in the tag team division. Family keeps growing. Baby Aaliyah Atenia, welcome to our family. Good picture of older child there as well. The new baby, husband and wife. Wonderful stuff. Congratulations, Angel Garza. This is great news, and I hope there's some great professional news for you in the works as well. Angel and Humberto have been wrestling really good matches whenever they've been given a chance so far. I'd like to see them get a push in the WWE's newly resurgent men's tag team division. What say you, John?
Dom, I think we're good here. I think it's time to end cheap.
There you go. I will stop the share there, and very good. We ended on a little happy note there for one of the wrestlers outside of the ring. So very good. As always, it's pathologically frugal. It's unseasonably warm. It's cheap heat.
Yeah.
And now it's the Italian goodbye.
Which might be more of an Irish goodbye, as I am tired. We don't usually go this late, Dom.
Right? This premium live event, for only having 4 matches, it ran pretty late. This started at 7 here in the East Coast. It ended after 10 o'clock.
It said 10, and then there was going to be a post show. I said 7 to 10, and then there was a post show at 10 on Peacock. So I was like, oh, it'll end at 10. And it just drove right through that.
Right through it. Yep.
But not too bad. We got the cheap heat in, and we got and 7 to 10 for the, like, if we had just done the match, that would have been fine. And even 12:30 is not too bad. But it just doesn't give me a lot of leeway for the Italian goodbye. I will say this, Dom. I will be at SmackDown in Philadelphia. Let's see when it is.
Very good. You went to night 1 of WrestleMania when WrestleMania was in Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40. When is SmackDown going to be? When Don't Bury the Lead will be on scene, on site.
It is March 7th, so this Friday. I'll be there.
Wow! All right, and then we will live stream the next night.
Yes.
March 8th, as we usually do. We're doing our Saturday. So will you be bringing the notebook with you there, or something perhaps to dictate into your phone or another device there as you're watching live?
Here's my idea. I'll rely on your notes.
Okay.
And I will give you the feel. I'll have some notes down, but I'm going to give the feel of what it's like in the stadium. Because I have such a different perspective. Like, oh, I can remember that, or I don't remember that. Or there's probably some stuff that happens during the commercial break, you know?
Yeah, there you go.
That could potentially be happening. I'll talk about, like, you know, what it's like to be at the event. So I think it'll be a good one.
Will you be able to take some fan footage from the crowd? You've posted some of that before, not only from WrestleMania 40, but AEW shows that you were at.
You better believe it.
A lot of wrestling in-person viewing there.
Yeah, you better believe it. And guess what? I'm really hoping we get either CM Punk. He'll probably get a lot of views, but I think I really want to get heel CENA on tape.
Oh.
That would be like, whoa.
Philadelphia reaction to a newly turned heel CENA.
Yeah. The crowd's, you know, he's probably going to come out Monday night or I mean, they don't really have any pay-per-views, so they can't milk this thing too long, right? I mean, I think they got to get to where they need to be.
But he's facing Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is a SmackDown wrestler. So chances are Cena will be doing most of his stuff on SmackDown.
That would be amazing. I could see them doing Netflix and SmackDown, though.
Yeah, bouncing back and forth with maybe Cody Rhodes hitting both of them. But we've got to see some Cena on SmackDown. Cody Rhodes is mostly wrestling on SmackDown, defending the Universal title.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Cody's all over SmackDown.
Great teaser. The very next Don't Bury the Lead live stream will feature John's on the scene, on site takes from watching SmackDown Live March 7th in Philadelphia. I love it. We're Italian goodbying a little bit here.
We are Italian goodbying. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Because I can keep the live stream up.
No, I'm good as well. I think we had an interesting show tonight to watch. I think we had a great Don't Bury the Lead recap.
No,
anybody who's still joining us in the chat, thank you very much. But no, wherever you're joining us on the chat, whether it's X, whether it's Twitch, whether it's YouTube, over at the YouTube channels where you can subscribe and get all of our extra content. Subscribe to Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel on YouTube. Help us climb the next mountain. 1,100, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000. Is that in our future? Get all of our archived content, the edited clips. Everything is there for you. John, we like doing this, and you do so much extra work putting out those videos. Show us some love.
Yeah. Show us some love. Thanks so much, Dom. Really appreciate it. Really fun show tonight. Thank you, WWE, for turning John Cena heel. That was amazing. And it gave us a ton to talk about. I could have just kept going and going on and on and on about that. But needless to say, a video will be coming out about that. I'm going to try to get that done tonight. I'm going to just pop out what we have Raw and just that's that, In addition to that, thank you all for joining. Really appreciate it. And have a great rest of your